In this video, I'm going to show you how to open up the what if analysis spreadsheet that you should have accessed from your shared area, and then how to use that worksheet to add formulas and do the goal seek to answer what if questions. So first of all, if I double click this spreadsheet, because it's a macro enabled spreadsheet, the first thing I need to do is I need to go to options at the top here on the security warning and enable those macros. Press OK. And what that means now is that the macro that's attached to this button will work. This macro basically resets all of these values if you change them. Okay, so just to show you, if I change this to 66,000, if I change this to 400, if I change this to 4, when I press the reset button, it sets them all back to how they were initially. Now then, what I need to do now is I need to add formulas here, here and here so that this spreadsheet model is correct. We'll start with this formula, and what you can see is that this formula gives us the total outgoings, which basically means it adds up all of these values. To do that, I'm going to add a formula. I'm going to click in the cell and I'm going to write equals sum, open bracket, drag down here and then close the bracket. And this is adding up a range of cells C6 to C10. Press enter and you can see that we've got a value there, the sum of all of these 5 values. Here, this one's a little bit trickier. I need to do the total income. Now it's not as simple as just adding up these values, because you can see that the ticket sales are based on a per ticket basis. So is the food and beverage per person and the merchandise per person. So what I need to do here is I need to first of all add up, multiply this number by the number of people that are attending. Once I've got that, I add it to this number multiplied by the number of people attending. I then add that to this number multiplied by the people attending, and then I simply add this value because it's an overall value. So to do that, I'm going to go equals, and I'm going to add a bracket, get this value, multiply it, which is the shift in the number 8 key, by this value, close my bracket, do the plus sign, open bracket, this value, multiplied by this value, close bracket, plus symbol, this value, oops, I missed a bracket out there, this value, multiplied by this value, close bracket, and then simply add this value. So you can see what I've done is I've multiplied each of the ticket sales, food and beverages, and merchandise by the people attending. I've added them all together and then added the overall advertising value at the end. Press enter. And that gives us a total income. Now what I need to do for the profit is I need to get the total income and subtract the total outgoings. So equals this value minus this value. You can see that I've already applied conditional formatting to this. It's red because I haven't reached my expected profit of 30 million. As soon as this hits the profit of 30 million, it'll turn orange. And if I exceed the profit, it will turn green. Okay, so now we've added the formulas. The next thing you need to do is you need to start using the goal seek to find out how to answer these questions. How many people need to attend to reach the expected profit? Now, if I was going to do that, if I was to find out how many people need to attend in order to make that 30 million, what I could do is I could just keep guessing numbers. So I could go, well, we'll start with 60,000. Okay, it's not quite there, so I could say, right, go to 65. Still not there, so go to 70. Okay, now I've hit more than 30 million, but what I'm asking here is how many people need to attend to reach the expected profit of exactly 30 million. Okay, so it's between 65 and 70,000, so I could go 68. And I could keep going on like this, but it'd take me a very long time. What I can do instead is I can use something called the what if analysis, which is here, and I can conduct a goal seek. Now I'm not going to answer these questions for you, so I'm going to give you another scenario. The first scenario is, what if I only need to make 10 million profit? So what if I only need this to be 10 million? how many people actually need to attend. So again, I could start going through it. Okay, that's not quite right, and I could keep going on and on and on. But by using the goal seek, I can do it really easy, because all I need to do is I need to think about, right, what do I need to change? What am I changing in order to try and get this value to 30 million? Well, I'm changing this. The question's asking me how many people need to attend here to change this. So with that in mind, I'm going to do a what if analysis and do a goal seek. Here I'm going to say, right, set the cell of profit to 10 million. Oops, sorry, I did that one. Sorry, what I first of all need to do is say, right, set this cell to the value of 10 million. There. By changing what appears in here. So again, I'm saying set this cell, here look, F14, to the value of 10 million by changing the value that's in here. Press OK, and you can see that it's automatically worked this out for me. It said to make that exactly 10 million, you need 41,250 people to attend. Press OK. So my answer to the question, what if only 10 million was needed for profit, how many people need to attend? The answer is 41,250. And you'd use a very similar technique, almost exactly the same in fact, to answer this first question. Now, every time you've answered a question, make sure you hit the reset button. Otherwise, my values would have changed. So hit the reset button, and then you'll answer your next question. So I'm just going to give you one more example of how to use goal seek. So imagine this scenario. What if it cost 2 million dirhams for security? So what if this said 2 million and only 60,000 people attended, so changing this value? How much would I have to charge for a ticket to make sure I make 30 million? Whoa, that's a lot going on. So let's break that down again. I'm saying, what if this was 2 million? So I know that that's 2 million, so I'm going to change it to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Security staff are 2 million. What if 60,000 people attend? So I know that. What if only 60,000 attend? So 60,000 have attended. Security staff has gone up to a price of 2 million, which means my outgoings are more. My question really now is then, how much do I have to charge for a ticket to make this be 30 million? Right, okay, so let's have a look. This is where I need to use what if, because the only way of doing this is to just go, right, well, imagine that I have 630 dirhams, now 650 dirhams, now 670 dirhams, now, and I can just keep going on, and it's going to take me a while. Instead, what if analysis, goal seek, set this cell to 30 million by changing the value that appears in this cell. Press OK, 700. So I need to charge 700 dirhams if only 60,000 people come. The security staff has gone up to 2 million. If I still want to make my 30 million profit, then I need to charge 700 dirhams for a ticket. So you need to very carefully read these questions 1 to 10, because there's some trickery in them. You need to first of all change some of the values in some of the questions. You need to change some of the values that appear here, change some of the values that appear here. You might have to change this. And once you figure out which ones you can change because it's factual, you then need to use the what if analysis to figure out, okay, you know, what if this value was different? How would this happen? So that might seem a little bit complicated, but when you start getting into the questions, hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. Key thing to remember is after each question, press the reset button and then move on to the next question. Okay, good luck. Once you've done that, you need to make sure that you attempt answering your, once you've done that, you need to make sure you try writing out your own 10 what-if scenarios and then try answering those as well. Or you can write out your 10 questions, swap computers with someone and see if they can use the what-if analysis to figure out the answers. Okay, good luck.